Revolutionary greetings, comrade. This is Comrade Pigeon Odimwengu from Kenya. Today, as we send this video out there to all African and blacks wherever we are and wherever we are scattered, this video dedicated to the marking of African Liberation Day. The question should be, as we start, is Africa really liberated? What do we need to do to liberate Africa? It's claimed that most African countries got independent, but did that independence come with the liberation of Africans? Let's assess in this week and this period of African Liberation Day on the vision of the founding fathers of Pan-African. What was their vision? What are the achievements have we come across or have we fulfilled along this journey? What are the challenges we've been facing, and what can we do together to advance this journey moving forward? So brothers and sisters, wherever we are, the task is still uphill to us to ensure that we liberate Africa. Nkrumah said total liberation, total unification, and total development of Africa must be achieved. And he said clearly that in order for Africa to be developed, it must first of all be liberated. So that once it is liberated, it can be united. And with the unity, Africa can develop. So we are still talking of the first step, which is liberation. I appreciate the efforts you brothers and sisters are making across the continent to push this liberation journey, to stand up for your rights and to defend what is right and to actually liberate the continent. It's not for nothing. As Morgan Heritage says, there's a place up there for you. We who give our life for the continent, we who struggle for the liberation and the betterment of the continent, there's a price for us. As we celebrate the names of our founding fathers, we who are struggling today, our names will be remembered forever. But we have reached a phase whereby for us to achieve the liberation of the continent, we need to work together, harmonize all forces, see the synthesis in regardless of your movement, your name of your organization. How can we now come together for a common goal, which is liberation? How can you synthesize? It's not competition anymore. Because the more we compete, the more we create so many things and so many Pan-Africans and so many organizations, we are not going to achieve what we want. It's time now to sit down honestly as Pan-Africans wherever we are, in different movements, different parties, and different every front, scholars and everybody else. Let's identify what is the path towards the liberation. How can we come together for common goal of liberation? How can we synthesize for this liberation? Nkrumah said in his book, Consciousism, that there is a need for positive action to be increased so that positive action can be increased towards infinity as negative actions are reduced towards negligence. When the positive actions are increased towards infinity, we can achieve the liberation of Africa. What are some of these positive actions? You know very well that if you read the Dr. Kray's book, Key to Colors, she states clearly the white supremacy codes, which include religion, politics, sex, economy, education, and so many other things. So in order to liberate Africa, we must start decoding those systems. We must start decoding the politics of Africa. Is it working for the African interest? Is the political system in Africa can aid the liberation of Africa? A question we need to ask ourselves. And what is the way forward for this? Is the economic system structures in Africa really towards liberating Africa? How about the education system? Is this education system can aid the liberation of Africa? How about the religion? Do we have to trace back our spirituality? Because I don't think that religion can liberate Africa, while I believe that religion can still enslave Africans. There are so many things to go with sex, orientation and sex. There are so many things that we need to learn. Culture. How about language? They say language is a carrier of culture. How do we decode the languages so that we can liberate Africa? We are all Africans today. As I communicate and speak to you, I speak in a foreign language. Can we really achieve unity of Africa through a foreign language? Or do we need to think of an African indigenous language for us to unite and liberate the continent? So this is the question and tasks to you. As we mark this Liberation Day, we need to ensure that we discuss these topics pertinently and clearly, and we ensure that in the only way to liberate Africa, we must start decoding these codes of white supremacists. There's a lot if we are liberated. We must think of the political leadership of Africa. How do we bring the Pan-African leaders, not the puppet leaders that are funded by the West? The Pan-Africans all over the world, wherever we are, we need to start funding African leaders. We need to start having our Pan-African leaders. We need to start destroying the puppet leaders of the West who are collaborating with the West to loot Africa forever. A lot has to be done. And I want to encourage you wherever you are. This is my clear message to you that the vision of our founding fathers of liberation of Africa must be done. And it must start by those positive actions. So that the more we create more positive action, we can liberate our continent. Then once a territory is liberated, like for example Kenya is liberated, Ghana is liberated, we can now go for unification of the continent. So that's my clear message to you. Then we can develop the African as we want it. One currency, free movement of people across the African continent, one telephone line, and so many unification systems must be done now. We must harmonize our system to see how we can tap on the water of River Congo so that we can tap electricity across the continent. We need to think about the gold and minerals in Africa so that we can produce and be the house power and the manpower of Africa and the whole world. The unity of Africa is a threat to everybody else, but we must pursue it with all that it takes. Thank you, comrades. Together we are strong. Hotel, Uhuru comrades. I say